There's something in the air at St. James Park, and it's not the usual pre-season nerves or the typical buzz of transfer rumors. It's something subtler, more strategic, a kind of silence that only those who closely follow Newcastle can pick up on. You know that feeling when everything seems calm on the outside, but behind the scenes there's a flurry of activity, meetings, calls, and big decisions being made. That's exactly the atmosphere surrounding the club in the last few hours. Something's about to happen, and it could change the course of the season. While the media's attention remains fixed on clubs making flashy signings, Newcastle are moving in silence. And it's in this silence that the most crucial decisions take shape. After the almost certain arrival of Anthony Elanga for around £55 million, the behind-the-scenes operations haven't stopped. Quite the opposite. In fact, the board remains active, analyzing the squad, identifying gaps, and preparing new moves. But this time, the target isn't an attacker, as many had expected. And here's an important heads up: if you're a Newcastle fan and still haven't subscribed to this channel, now is the perfect time to join our community. Your subscription helps keep this project alive and ensures you'll always be the first to know the real stories behind the headlines. Here, you get information with proper context, reliable sources, and above all, a deep passion for Newcastle United. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications, because what's coming might surprise a lot of people. Back to what's happening behind the scenes. Sources close to the club say that even after progressing with the Elanga deal, the board held another internal meeting to discuss a different name, a name that hasn't been making as many headlines lately, but has been quietly tracked for months. And interestingly, while many fans and journalists assumed the next signing would be an attacker, it seems Newcastle are eyeing a different area, one that could bring added security to the squad. And here's where the twist begins. The next name likely to pull on the Magpies shirt is none other than James Trafford. Yes, you heard that right. According to respected journalist Lee Ryder from the Chronicle, negotiations between Newcastle and Burnley over the 22-year-old goalkeeper have accelerated over the last 24 hours. Everything points towards a deal being closer than ever, with both sides optimistic about finding an agreement during this transfer window. Trafford isn't just another young English prospect. He's coming off a solid season with Burnley and has impressed with his composure and technical ability. According to Ryder, despite Burnley initially valuing him at around £40 million, there's now room for negotiation. Newcastle reportedly offered something in the region of £27 million, which fell short of expectations. However, behind closed doors, talks have evolved towards a structure involving a lower base fee topped up by performance-related bonuses and add-ons. This smart approach by the Newcastle board shows just how strategic the club is being this summer. Rather than giving in to initial demands, they're building a financially sound deal that still appeals to Burnley. And it makes sense. 20% of any final sale fee will go to Trafford's former club, Manchester City, which significantly reduces Burnley's profit. That's why including add-ons could be key to sealing the transfer end, according to sources. That's the route Newcastle are now pursuing. And here's another quick but important reminder. If you're enjoying this content and want to stay up to date with everything happening at our club, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Your support is what allows us to keep growing, delivering accurate news, no clickbait, and always with the passion of real fans. Don't wait, subscribe now and join us for full coverage of the transfer window. Now, let's get back to the deal. There's also an emotional and strategic element strengthening this possible signing. Trafford is said to be genuinely interested in joining Newcastle. According to those close to him, he sees this as a step forward in his career, chance to fight for a spot at a club, aiming for silverware and long-term success in the Premier League. He also believes he can improve under Eddie Howe, who's built a reputation for developing young talent. Bringing in a young goalkeeper, already tested in a demanding league like the Championship, shows that Newcastle are thinking long-term. Even if Trafford doesn't start immediately, his presence in the squad is an investment in the future, one that could turn into leadership on the pitch, reliability between the sticks, and perhaps even strong market value down the line. It's the kind of move that may go unnoticed by rivals, until it becomes a crucial piece of the season. Another key point: choosing to strengthen the goalkeeping department at a time when most expected an attacking signing shows that the board is addressing the less obvious needs of the squad. In a congested Premier League calendar, having depth and quality across all positions is vital, and goalkeeping is one of the most sensitive areas. A single mistake can cost vital points. That's why having someone like Trafford on the bench or even competing for a starting spot shows foresight and planning. It's also worth noting that James Trafford's name has been circulating within the club for a while. Newcastle scouts have been following his progress for some time. What's changed now is the context: players leaving, the need to refresh certain positions, and the understanding that the upcoming season will demand a more robust, more competitive squad capable of handling multiple competitions, domestic and European. And if you're appreciating this strategy, it's because you're watching the club with a keen eye. So once again, I'll say it: if you're not yet part of our channel community, now's the time. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and come along with USB, because this type of exclusive, in-depth content is only possible with your support. Let's follow every twist and turn of this transfer window together, with clear eyes and black and white hearts. The source for all of this, as mentioned earlier, is Lee Ryder, reporter for The Chronicle, one of the most respected news outlets in the Northeast. He's covered Newcastle for years and is known for his accuracy and credibility. So when he reports progress in negotiations, it usually means there's serious movement behind the scenes. And as the saying goes, where there's smoke, there's usually fire. That means we can confidently say the James Trafford saga is nearing its conclusion. To wrap up, it's important to understand that these types of moves show how Newcastle are positioning themselves in the current market. While other clubs focus on high-impact signings, Newcastle are carefully building a solid base. Elanga up front and Trafford in goal aren't just isolated signings, they're part of a thoughtful process aimed at creating a young, promising, balanced squad. And that, dear fan, is exactly what a long-term winning project needs. Now we want to hear from you. What do you make of Trafford's potential arrival? Do you think he could challenge for the #1 spot, or would he serve more as a backup for now? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We value your input, and it helps us grow this community of informed, passionate Newcastle fans. Because what's happening at St. James Park goes far beyond what the mainstream headlines are showing. Here, you get the story first, with details, analysis, and a whole lot of love for the black and white. And if you've made it this far, it means you love this club just as much as we do. Thanks for being part of it, and we'll see you in the next video.